Hey you, welcome back to this week's episode where I talk about sleep. Oh, there's Cardi. Cardi P. Cardi P. Hi, Cardi P. Everybody see her? Hi, Cardi P. Hi, Cardi P. Here's my Cardi. If you're wondering, hello, hi, there we go, we're back. My gimbal is silly. Hi. Oh, she wants snacks, but I'm not gonna give her snacks. I have no snacks. Cardi gets lots of sleep, just in case you were wondering. She gets plenty of good sleep. Must be nice. Anywho, so how I get a good night's sleep is I spend a lot of time researching what we call Cardi, I have no treats. She gets plenty of sleep and she gets plenty of treats, as you can all tell. She's so mad I have no treats. I'm sorry, I'm filming. Okay, so I've gotten Cardi P settled down. Ow, I just bit my knee. Damn, there's so much going wrong in this episode. Yeah. FYI, I'm also getting over bronchitis, so I actually haven't been sleeping that well, so I feel a little inauthentic in doing this episode right now. I like talking about I get the best sleep ever, but really I haven't slept in like 5 days because I can't stop coughing. It's pretty dope. But when I don't have bronchitis, I am a great sleeper, and I shouldn't be a great sleeper. So as many of you know, I have PTSD. And for a while I was a terrible sleeper, mostly because I had just chronic night terrors. Wake up screaming. I'd wake up with claw marks under my eyes because I was trying to claw my eyes out in my sleep, which I laugh about now, but I had to sleep with gloves on. It's actually not funny. Most people don't try to claw their own eyes out, but I did. That's gone now, thank goodness. And then, just the general stuff that comes with the anxiety from PTSD. You're running through to-do lists in my head. Oh, I forgot about this. Or awkward conversations I had, 25 years ago. Just really crazy stuff. Or the falling asleep and then waking up and then falling asleep and then waking up and then falling asleep 20 minutes before my alarm would go off. And then having the best sleep ever for, all of 20 minutes and then just feeling like garbage and being a raging bee because I was grumpy and uncomfortable and just generally exhausted from really not sleeping well for over a decade. And, I've got goals, I've got stuff I want to do, and it was important to me. So I went and I did so much research on sleep. And I found out that there's such a thing as sleep hygiene. And basically that's what it is. It's cleaning up your sleep and your sleep area and your sleep routine. And it's worked so well. I sleep great generally when not coughing up my lungs. The nightmares are for the most part gone. I would say I probably have more nightmares than the average person if you can quantify those types of things. But whatever, I'm sleeping and I get up in the morning and I'm productive, which is incredibly important as a freelancer because I don't have a boss waiting to yell at me if I'm late to motivate me to get out of bed. Really, if I wanted to, the only people that would get mad at me eventually about not getting out of bed is like my mortgage company for not getting any work done. So I need to make sure that I'm ready to, hit the alarm off, jump out of bed and get that coffee and start working so I can pay my bills and see all of you lovely people in TV land, YouTube land. It's not really TV. I don't know. So I have these tips that I'm gonna go through, and I want to encourage you to try them, but try them for an extended period of time. And we'll talk about that at the end about being consistent. But there are some things that people are gonna be like, oh no, I don't want to do that. Oh my God, no, I can't do that. Okay. But then I'm going to ask you, well, how's your sleep working out for you? And the answer is going to be probably not well. You could try it for a day, be like, oh, I still didn't get sleep. She was wrong. She's totally wrong. She's totally wrong. You know, I might be. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I am not a sleep therapist. I'm just going off of my research and the fact that I have great sleep. So I'm going to take that to the bank. Boom. But it takes more than one day to retrain our brains and to retrain our functions and our hormones and our habits. So it's going to take more than a day. It's probably going to take more than a week. So I want you to go into this with an open mind if you're really serious about getting good sleep without pharmaceuticals. We can all pop pills. It's my goal to not do that. So I've developed this sleep routine, and here it is. The most important thing and the hardest thing for most people to swallow is you have to completely detox from electronics. That means no electronics in the room, and it means no electronics for a period of time before you go to bed. And I know a lot of people sit in their bed and they scroll through their phone, or they have their laptop going, or their TV going, so their shows are playing. And everybody's like, well, that's how I fall asleep. I have to have the noise, or, you know, it helps me fall asleep. That's when I really get tired, you know, just sitting there and watching like these shows. Well, you're probably already tired and ready to go to bed, but your brain's still working because you're being on those electronics. And eventually you kind of just push yourself and push your brain to the point where it's like, fuck it, I have to go to sleep, right? Even though the electronics are actually keeping you up longer than you need it to be. So I have like a specific routine that cues my brain, like Pavlov, okay, I'm getting ready for sleep. So 30 minutes before bed, that's it. My phone is off, and I put it in a completely other room. Like, so if you're trying to reach me past my bedtime, which is ridiculously early, and I'm not going to say it on this video because I don't want to be made fun of for that. But it's not in the room. My laptop's not in there. We don't have a TV in the room. I will never have a TV in my room again. The only electronics that are in there, I have my Alexa, and she plays like sleep noises, like white noise, waves, things like that. But there's no light.
Skill, sleep and relaxation sounds can help you with that. Did you want to enable it?
No.
All right.
I'm out in my living room, so I obviously don't have the sleep aid on there. That's funny. Okay, note to self. Do not say her name while filming. Say A instead. Okay. New lesson. See? Learning lessons. Great. So fun. Anywho. So I have that white noise. It's nothing that's going to keep my brain processing like the same way that, you know, a TV show would, or music or song that our brain still has to kind of like figure out. Our brains are always working while we're asleep, but we want them to have the capacity to do the good work, to do the repair to our bodies, to the repair to our brains, to organize our long-term memory, and just to generally get us rested and ready for the day. Our brain doesn't shut off just because we go to sleep. It's still trying to process all of those sounds. So you want to make it as quiet as possible, which is hard for people that try to fall asleep with the TV going, but you are keeping yourself awake. I'm sorry to break the news to you. You need to stop. So I stop it 30 minutes before. I find that that works really well for me. And then I'll do the things like brushing my teeth and washing my face and getting into my pajamas. I'm usually already in my pajamas, I'm not gonna lie. I usually have never gotten out of my pajamas. Maybe change pajamas. Yeah, things like that. I make sure I have my water by my bed. I get my diffuser going. That's another electronics that I have going, but again, no light. It's just the diffuser diffuses the wonderful things. Right now it's eucalyptus because bronchitis. I don't know if I mentioned that I have bronchitis. I did. I think I did. I'm sleep deprived, right? Because I've been coughing. I think I did mention that. Anyways, but that's it. That's all I have in my room. And that 30 minutes, maybe I'll read a book, but I read it out in the living room, because another important tip, here we go, number 2 or whatever, is that you do want to do something that quiets your brain. And the best way to do that is not electronics, it's the words. And I do it outside of my room, so that my room is simply for sleeping. Like, that's it. Okay, and sex. But I usually don't do that right before bed either, because I don't like late night sex. It's not fun. Anyways, overshare, done. But I do it, so I read my book, I get ready for bed, and then when I go to bed, I'm just there to like crawl into bed, turn off my light. I have blackout shades that are amazing. It is completely dark in there. The whole space is just set up for sleep. And I'm asleep, and I'm not kidding, like a minute, maybe. And, I wake up maybe once a night if I have to pee because I forgot to stop drinking water before bed. But that's about it. And I just sleep through the night. And it's great. I also try to limit like how late I have caffeine. That's another tip. It's a pretty common sense one. So if you're someone that drinks a lot of caffeine and maybe think, oh well, caffeine just doesn't affect me, it affects you. Grow up. You're probably gonna have to have some sleepy afternoons, but start like cutting it down a little bit because it does keep you up. I try to stop caffeine after 1 p.m. It doesn't always work out, but I found that does help. And an optional tip, I also smoke a joint. It doesn't actually help me sleep. I was sleeping better before I started smoking marijuana, and I didn't start smoking marijuana to help me sleep. I just smoked it because I wanted to and because it's legal in California, although it wasn't legal when I started. Not a surprise. But I did notice that smoking indica does help me relax, and it is what took away the nightmares. I don't know why. I don't know the science behind it. I don't think it's meant to do that, but it did, and it's great. And you don't have to do marijuana. You don't have to do anything that doesn't make you feel comfortable or doesn't align with your core beliefs. But for me, it's more natural than pharmaceuticals. It's completely natural. It's non-addictive, regardless of what people who don't understand marijuana say. It's not. I go months without smoking it, and I'm totally fine. I smoke it because I like it, and like I said, it did take the nightmares away. So that's an optional tip. I don't care if you do that or not. The main point is just detox from those electronics, and that's a really hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, and I understand if you don't want to try it. My social media coordinators package this as this is what works for me, and try it if you like it. And everybody's different. Everybody is different, but at the core, our bodies do function fairly similarly. I always have a hard time saying that word, but I think I said it right. And I find the thing that's getting in the way of sleep for people is people, and I understand that I need to make this palatable for people to swallow and not be preachy. But here's the deal. I've been told by numerous people that they admire me, and they want to know how I'm so productive, or how I'm so successful, or how I have the energy, blah, 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 because I get sleep. So then they want to know, well, how do you get sleep? And I really impressed upon the getting rid of the electronics, and I'm immediately, oh no, I know that works for you, but I have to have my show playing. Okay. You sit on that horse and ride it. I'm gonna go to sleep. So, I would challenge you to step out of your comfort zone, step out of this habit that you may have formed, and just try it. Just try to clean up your sleep. 30 days. It's not that long. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, and I'm an asshole, whatever. But at least you gave it a real try, and then at least maybe you can try something else, or you can keep researching, or go to your doctor, or do whatever you need to do, and you can put your TV show back on. But it's really hard for me to be asked continuously for advice and have people continuously complaining to me about sleep the way that everybody does, without the willingness to let go of electronics, without the willingness to let go of things that we don't need. And that's pretty much a life lesson. We get into patterns and we get into our comfort zone, and it's really actually more distracting than helpful, but it's what we're used to, and it's what we think we need. And it's when we find that zone and that resilience and desire to just, I'm just going to try something different and see if it works. And that's where we find growth, and that's where we find sleep. So I hope that you will take that into consideration, that you will detox your nighttime routine from electronics, not your whole life, just your nightlife. I want to start doing disco dancing right now. Oh, damn. Alexa, play disco music.
Sure. Here's a station for you. Disco Fever on Amazon Music.
Perfect. We're gonna end the episode with some ABBA. This has been another episode of My Unemployed Life, written and hosted by me, your disco queen, Jessica Taylor. It is edited and produced by John Hernandez, and special thanks to Natalie K. Davis of Socially Natalie K. Even though I didn't follow her directions and I did get a little preachy. I'm sorry, Natty. I love you. You're a dancing queen too. Night, guys. I hope you get some great sleep.